podcast. It's a lot of beeps. It's a lot of beeps. What is going on, Dodgers Nation? My name is Clint. You can find me as Real FRG on Twitter and Instagram.
What's going on, Dodgers Nation? Doug McCain here. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DMac_LA. Here to talk Dodger baseball. Lots of exciting things happening in Dodger land. Let's go right to these comments. We got Cooper says, what up, Dodgers Nation? What up, Cooper? We got Goat, Yachty, DMac, and Clint, the handsomest boys in the Dodger club. Jeez, got me blushing, man. Yeah. Feeling that. I like that one. MLB, we got Nando390 says MLB being shady, saying Dodgers didn't clinch a playoff spot yesterday. We're going to get into that. But Clint, What else we got?
Well, we gotta first welcome you guys. Welcome to Blue Heaven. Cheers, and thank you to our friends at Jim Beam for getting us through this next hour or so of Dodger Talk. So cheers, my friend. I'm going to awkwardly delay the thing. You know, it has this thing. Anyways, enjoy a high ball.
He's going with Jim Beam. I'm going to Ornitos. Get those Ubers ready. They usually start ordering them for me early in the show.
On today's show, we got to talk about the Dodgers slamming Diego. We got to talk a little bit of Julio, because Julio has been outright great for the boys in blue. Blake Treinen is hurt again, and I'm wondering, is it time to move off of the Blake Treinen experience in 2022? We got to react to the new MLB rules. We got to look ahead at the series that are coming up, and the Hornitos' final thoughts and a whole lot more. Guys, if you're watching this show live, dive into the comments, jump in them comments. Let us know where you're representing Dodgers Nation at tonight. Leave your area codes, leave your home address. Let us know what time you guys are at work so we can go and visit and take some stuff. Also, before we get into the show, we got to remind you this is on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Stitcher Radio, Pandora. If you don't have the time to watch us live, go listen to us. We're a podcast. But jumping into the live stream, guys, hit some comments. What do you guys want to talk about? Let's dive into the comments now. Got some friends here. Anthony Keene saying new office. Yes, week 2.
New office, new us.
New office, who dis? We're still trying to dial in some things here, but it's coming together. It is coming together. A lot of great work behind the scenes for Mr. Gary Lee, so shout out to that guy. If I had the button, I would totally clap for him. Facebook user is checking in from East Los Angeles. I don't know who Facebook user is, but it just says Facebook user. Carlos Rodriguez checking in, says, sup. Don Kim, what's up? DNHQ, one of our favorites. Don Kim, who doesn't love Don? Diane Schroeder, one of your favorites. Hello, DMac. Exclusively, hello, DMac.
Hey, what can we say? Diane Schroeder, she's probably already saying smash that like button. She's always helping out the channel. I've had people in the chat recently that say that we should get her on the payroll here at Dodgers Nation. She's like the unofficial, like fairy godmother of Dodgers Nation. Always represent. We really appreciate you out there, Diane. We
appreciate our hype people, big time.
Exactly. She's always hyping us up. Always, it's very popular in the chats. Put it that way. And it's great takes.
Great takes. We all takes are welcome here, but we're gonna clown you if they're bad. Justin's checking in from Sydney, Australia. That's awesome. There, and Justin's flying over here for 8 games next week. AJ, our friend AJ on the guitar, checking in from Pennsylvania, and he said, "Go Birds! Let's go Birds." Iris saying, "What's up, DMac? You got some good comments over there."
What up, Iris K?
Ruben is loving the new setup.
Yeah, Ruben's loving the new setup. We got Aaron representing the Dodgers all the way from Minneapolis. Hey, Dodgers, they beat the Minnesota Twins in the World Series back in the 60s, so good times. I got Jam says softball bases in reference to the bigger bases. I don't know if you guys saw on Twitter, someone photoshopped Jose Altuve on a base, and it was just like, it was super massive around him. We got Moose 1032 says DMac and Clint. Sup, guys? What up, Moose? Always represent down below in the comment section. But yeah, let us know down below. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes here. The new rules that Major League Baseball is implementing for next season. Got some thoughts on that. But yeah, fire away your thoughts on the new bases, on the pitch clock, on the banning of the shift. So we have lots to get into on this show. Diane Schroeder is actually from Indian Wells. So there you go. Oh. I was 8 years old when I actually learned where she's actually from. So
fine golf course.
There we go. Yeah.
Iris checking in, Studio City. Andrew checking in from Torrance. Everybody loves Torrance. I got some good car headquarters out there. Gilbert in Coachella. Dave Luna is watching us, waiting for a 6 p.m. class. So hopefully we won't run past 6 p.m. and you can get to class and have a good time. Moose checking in for Pomona. We got Laura representing from La Habra. Gotta love La Habra. Manuel, Colorado. Look at that.
NOS territory.
We're cultural.
There we go.
Irene, Pennsylvania. We got some good vibes coming from Nicolaza on the YouTube. Anthony Keene checking 310 Bay Area as usual. being in the bad territory up there. Sarah Morris, we love Sarah Morris. She was looking to see the pool party, checking in the 82001 in Arizona. I think that's Arizona. I'm pretty sure that sounds about it. Jack's checking in from Vegas 702. We got a lot of good stuff in here. Appreciate you guys hanging out. We're going to keep trying to mix the comments in along the way, but let's dive into some of the topics we have specially curated for y'all. The recap is brought to you by GearUp.la. If you guys want some of the freshest merch, we'll call it. We got some good shirts over there. We got some stuff, and it directly supports us, everybody here at DNHQ in some way, shape, or form. So check it out, GearUp.la. I'd give you a coupon code, but we don't have one set up right now. But just go sign up. I think you get a coupon code when you sign up for a newsletter over there. But the Dodgers take 2 of 3 in San Diego, or Dodger Stadium South, because True Blue fans represented hard down in San Diego. They clinched a playoff berth, but then they didn't. We'll get more into that a little later in the show. Outscored San Diego 23-11, and this is a team that has been trying to compete with the Dodgers, make moves specifically to compete with the Dodgers for the last few years, and they keep getting made fools of. You know, the Dodgers just clown on them. They go there, they lose one game, and then they just destroy them for the next 2 games, and that seems to be pretty consistent. But what are your key takeaways from this series?
I mean, my biggest takeaway has to probably be that Justin Turner is Joe Musgrove's Padre at the end of the day, the way he's owned him. But yeah, you talk about this Dodger team. They won 22 of their last 25 games against the San Diego Padres. They haven't lost a season series against San Diego since 2010. This is a team that's dominated the little brothers down south. We call it our beach house down there, and they really have just taken over. I mean, if you were listening to that game on the radio when Trey Turner got that go-ahead double the other day, I mean, this team, it's just the support from Dodgers Nation down there. It's unmatched. The way that this team follows the Dodgers, wherever it may be tonight, it's going to be another Dodgers-heavy crowd. But I think when you look at this series between the Dodgers and the Padres, they had a lot to play for. This Padres team is still trying to secure a spot in the wild card race. The Dodgers, they're just sitting pretty. They're now 96-43, 53 games above 500, 51-15 since June 29th. And yeah, against this Padres team, I think Friday, it was a little spicy. There was some tension between the two.
Good series. It's a good game.
Yeah, for
sure.
I
mean, I loved, as much as we've talked crap about Manny Machado over the years, he's been a Dodger in the past. I love to see a good, healthy, and thriving Manny Machado. Not always against the Dodgers, but it's good for baseball. It's good for the budding rivalry. I mean, it's a rival by the fact that they play each other in the division, but for you want that spite, you want the hate, and you want it to be both ways.
Yeah, I mean, yes, we all know the Dodgers, their rival is and always will be the San Francisco Giants. We know that, but when it comes to tension, even last season with the Giants and the Dodgers, you didn't have that same tension that you felt between the Profars, who's the Patrick Beverly of Major League Baseball, with Manny Machado when he looks at Doc and he's saying, pitch to me, and Doc just has that face he does before. Yeah. But, I mean, look, the Dodgers, they took 2 out of 3. They continue to dominate. They've won 8 straight series against San Diego, and look, they won that game in those uniforms. Does it even count as a win? Okay, it looks like a 90s Taco Bell just took a dump on a blank uniform. You got those uniforms out there. But yeah, it was a competitive series, and I think that it was an extra innings game, and you don't want to tax his bullpen any more than they already need to be. So I was fine with, you lose one. But, the last 2 games, the offense, they just exploded. I think yesterday was a really nice bounce-back start for Andrew Heaney, who continues to serve up bombs. He is home run Heaney of late, 11 home runs served up in his last 5 outings. But what's very impressive is those strikeout numbers. His ability to get that chase out of the zone.
Almost 14 per 9, I think it is. He's walking, or he's striking out right now.
14 per 9 is last 5.
High.
Yeah.
But the homers still seem to be a problem.
The home runs are definitely concerning, and really what it comes down to for him is, look, he's filthy when he's on. I mean, that slider down and in to righties, it's just really about elevating that fastball and keeping it out of the heart of the zone. But my concern with Andrew Heaney is, look, Major League teams, they've won games at a 78% clip this season when they out-homer their opponent, and you don't want to have them come on and serve dongs in a big spot. But I still think that even though he did serve up a home run, that it was still a nice bounce-back start for him, and I think that he's on the right track. Just there's some mechanical issues and just avoiding, like I said, avoiding the hard to plate.
Yeah, I mean, all in all, again, it was a good series. You learned the Dodgers still, they need to be taking this time to learn things about their club, learn what, how they may tailor their roster heading into October when the games mean something again. Because right now you got a 20-game lead after taking 2 or 3. There's not a whole lot of stress in that locker room, and you saw with, just the guys were having fun with the dress-up day, which we're not going to talk too much about today, but check out a great video Doug posted today on our YouTube, youtube.com/DodgersNationTV. Check it out, subscribe, hit the bell, leave a like, tell your grandma to leave a comment. Great stuff, and that's just a team that is having a good time winning baseball games. Winning breeds chemistry, but this is a team that also this is some of the best chemistry I've seen, and we've had a lot of incredibly good Dodgers baseball teams, and this is still quite possibly the most together team we've ever seen. And apparently all it took was ditching the iPads.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, no, for sure. I think when you can
and Freddie Freeman.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, when you look at this, it's something that all Dodger fans look forward to every single year. What are guys going to do? You saw clean-shaven Chris Taylor. I thought that was something he was doing to maybe be a slump buster, and he did go 4 for 12 this series, and he had his first home run since early August. And then Cody Bellinger, high Sox belly. I thought maybe it was for that, but really it's because he was squints in the sandlot. You saw my favorite, honestly, the one for me had to be probably Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts. I think the relationship that they've developed already, Tiger Woods, you got his caddy, Stevie Williams. I thought that one was great. And then also Joey Gallo. Jeez, Joey Gallo, they probably showed him that little shirt with the muscles. He's like, nah, bro, I'm good. I'm already jacked.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to hide all this.
Yeah, no, that dude
hide this man meat.
Joey Gallo's pretty yoked, man. He makes Gabe Kappa look like he's in my kind of shape. I mean, this guy is an absolute beast out there.
Yeah, I'm gonna start calling him Beef, man. That is a beefy dude, respectfully, for sure. One thing I wanted to focus on a little bit, and I tweeted it from our Dodgers Nation Twitter account yesterday, and I know the pregame show SNLA, they ended up running something on it, but it's gotten better since with an 11-2 victory. How absurd is a plus 310 run differential? This is an insanely good team.
It's unbelievable how much success this team's had, not just in run production, but run prevention. And like you mentioned just now, Clint, 310 run differential. The second best team, the New York Yankees, they have 104 more runs than they do. Okay, they're sitting at 206. So when you talk about
they kind
that
of
gap,
fell off the face of the earth.
They absolutely did, for sure.
Yeah.
And the Dodgers, they've been consistent all season long. But yeah, when you look at that wide margin, I mean, they're verging on historic territory. When you talk about a run differential, when you talk about wins, they're going to absolutely obliterate the franchise record in wins with 106. They did twice. But to me, look, it's all nice, it's great, but it doesn't really matter unless they win the World Series. And that is the unfortunate thing for this year's team, is that is what they're ultimately going to be evaluated by. This team is a World Series or bust team. Their success or failure will ultimately be determined by whether or not they raise that piece of metal in late October or early November. But still, I still think this team is to me, it's the consistency on a day in and day out basis, a game-to-game basis that I find so impressive.
The important thing is, or one last important note about that before I dig into two topics I want to touch on, both we've kind of touched on already, is the Dodgers need to keep winning. They need to keep taking series, because then we get to see more shirtless Joey Gallo covered in beer, and that is what America needs, apparently. Not really. I don't know. It's just something I wanted to bring up. But, the two last takeaways I guess we have from this, or I have from this, Julio. Absolutely electric. He posted seven innings, only gave up 2 runs. First time he's given up 2 runs in almost nearly 2 months, or 2 calendar months. So that was great. Heaney was solid again. He's still two true outcome guy, and you worry about whatever his role is going to be come October. So maybe that's something for another show. Maybe we talk about that on Designated Twitter this week or something. But I do want to dive into Julio, because I think we're really at the point now, and I was even thinking this before his outing, and then Dave Roberts stole my thunder by bringing up the fact that, hey, this is a guy who is a legitimate Cy Young Award candidate, and it's hard to make the argument where he's not going to be winning this award, or at least in the top 2, top 3. The numbers are there. The numbers don't lie. Stats don't lie. 2.3 ERA. He's leading the National Leagues, fourth best in MLB. The wins, they matter, and he's tied for second in baseball, 16 wins. Kyle Wright of Atlanta has 17 wins. I would see the only area, he's posting every day. He's making his starts. So it's 26, 27 starts so far this season. The innings, though, they're lower, 152 and 2/3 inning versus Sandy Alcantara's 196.2. So there's a pretty large difference there. But, he's going out and posting every day, and him going out and winning the Cy Young would be the ultimate puta madre to not getting that all-star game nod. There was a snub there, and he is not happy about it. But in your opinion, is he firmly moving himself, Julio Urias, firmly moving himself into legitimate Cy Young territory?
Clint, absolutely 100%. If you look at the betting odds, he's at plus 650. That's second to only your friend Sandy Alcantara. How do you say Sandy Alcantara? Yeah, right. But I think the big issue with him is Sandy Alcantara. If you look at the year he's had, what he's established, and the perception is that he's been the best pitcher in the National League. But if you look at his second half numbers compared to Julio's are more impressive, in my opinion. The second half of the season, Julio Urias, a 1.29 ERA. That's second to only Zach Gallen, who just had a 44 1/3 inning scoreless inning streak. He's been fantastic as well. Sandy Alcantara, his second half, I'm just messing with you. His second half ERA is sitting at 4.01 in 58 1/3 innings pitched. If you look at Sandy's last outing, he gave 5 runs on 8 hits and over 6 innings of work. So yes, when it comes to innings pitched, he has been an absolute workhorse. But Julio Urias, when you consider the fact that the Miami Marlins, they're an afterthought. They're a team that is far from the postseason. The Dodgers, they have been the best team in Major League Baseball from wire to wire, and they're not going to win the MVP award because that's probably going to go to Paul Goldschmidt.
Yeah.
You talk about the hardware they could win from an individual standpoint. Julio Urias, if he has a couple dominant starts, we saw last season, Max Scherzer, we thought that he had another Cy Young in the bag. If you look at Walker Buehler, he was the odds-on favorite in early August, and we saw what happened. So it can change a lot down the stretch, and I think Julio is definitely a guy that's firmly in the mix at this point.
Yeah, Julio definitely has, 2, maybe 3, 4 more starts to sway some voters with recency bias in that, hey, this guy did good. The same thing we saw last year with Corbin Burns. Realistically, Zach Wheeler probably should have won the Cy. Corbin Burns was a pretty weak candidate, but if Corbin Burns can go out and win it with the low inning count he had versus Scherzer and versus Wheeler, then there's no reason to say Julio can't win it based on, oh, yeah, he has fewer innings. Well, yeah, because they're going to protect him a little bit, but he's also gone out there every day. He's winning. He's keeping his team in ball games, and I think a number you really got to look at, quality starts is nice, but you got to look at what is the team's record when he starts. I don't know what the number is, but I'm telling you, he's he's got at least 16 wins on there. Some tough luck losses because he bad run support, poor run support. But dude, give it to him. Why not? That's all I got. That's a terrible button up, but still.
No, look, I think when you talk about Julio in the year he's had, how interesting would it be considering what happened at the All-Star break? Everyone thought that Sandy should have started, ends up being Clayton Kershaw. You had some people that were upset about that. And then they say, oh, well, at least he's going to be the NL Cy Young Award winner. And then to have a Dodger pitcher stripped out of him late, they'd be pretty upset down in Miami for the 5 or 6 fans that they do have. So I think when you look at Sandy and the whole wins thing, if you're going on wins, right of the Braves, he's first with 17 wins. Look, if you look at Jacob deGrom in 2018, he won the Cy Young with a 10-9 record, and he didn't not have wins because he wasn't a dominant pitcher. He didn't have a lot of wins because he was on the New York Mets. So that's a lot of luck has to be in that situation. But I definitely think that let's get this campaign going, guys. Hashtag Urias for Cy Young, and I think that it's a situation where if he has some,
hashtag.
Let's go.
Go ahead.
Let's do Urias for Cy Young.
No, it's Cy Urias.
Cy
Urias. Anyways,
but how about you look at innings pitched. Look at Tyler Anderson, the year he's had. He's also a guy that has had a lot of success. But I think what it comes down to,
I think Tyler the Outs creator, man, that's like a top 10, top 15 Cy guy right now.
For sure, absolutely. And he's actually been the workhorse, and he's pitched the most innings on this team. So.
Says the biased Dodger podcast guy that the people are going to say in the comments.
I think you just need some signature starts down the stretch. Maybe you see a few double-digit strikeouts games. He's a guy that has taken no-hitters late in games before, so if he has some of those signature starts down the stretch, and then also you get the media, guys like us, pushing this narrative that he definitely deserves to be included, I don't see why not. And hey, let's be honest, the Dodgers, they are the kings when it comes to Cy Youngs. 12 Cy Young winners in this franchise's proud history. I think he should be the 13th. I think that he's definitely in the mix, and it's more than I ever believed until I start looking at the numbers today. And you look at Sandy's second half of the season, he has fallen off a bit.
The numbers really, the numbers don't lie. But let us know your guys' thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about Julio's Cy Young Award chances? Is he your guy? Are we being too biased on it? Who else should get it? And tell us how important wins are to you guys. Let's dig into a few of the comments here. Great stuff from the dress-up day thing, because we got E. Smith who said, I want to cuddle with Joey, and Dodgers auditioning for Magic Mike 3. Great. That was a great comment. That was a fire comment right there, but we don't have Doug's fire button.
Fire take.
Fire take. We got it. Maddie Man 5 Dodge says, can Julio play center when he's not pitching? Hey, you know what? I made a firm stance that I don't want to talk about Cody Bellinger this week. I'm tired of it. We had a great video come out over the weekend, great designated Twitter, where everybody was talking about everybody here in the office and some fan takes about Cody's status and who's going to be the center fielder of the future. Some James Outman takes in there, some exciting Aaron Judge takes in there. But check out that video, youtube.com/Dodgers Nation TV, because why not? Anthony Keene said, I picked Julio for the Cy Young at the beginning of the season, and you know, it's on record. It's one of his one of the earliest season live streams. Apparently, he said it in the stream. So, if you want to find that clip and send it to us, go ahead and we'll play it. We're gonna play
the internet
it
is forever. I'm sure it's out there somewhere.
Let's see. Any more good comments in here? There's a whole bunch of comments. Sorry, we're being bad at the comments right now.
Yeah, Gary says, you're going to disappoint the Cody fanboys / girls. Look, I mean, nothing much has changed with Cody Bellinger, so there's really not much to discuss. I mean, what did he do differently? He made his socks higher than him, and he didn't really change anything at the plate as far as his stance or his setup. And yeah, he went 2 for 4. He snapped an 0 for 24 streak, but at the end of the day, he's still the same guy, so not too much to address there. We got some more comments down below. We got me and Julio down by the Cy Young yard. That's from Ice Weem 7. We got Jeannie. Hey, D-Mac and Clint, cheers from Wine Country, Sonoma County, Santa Rosa. Yeah, cheers to you, Jeannie. And then we got Carnivorous Lunar Activity, says Julio should be competing for his second Cy Young. I mean,
20 wins last season. Come on now. No love. What did he finish? Like 8th or something? Or?
Yeah, he definitely didn't finish as high as he should have. There's no question about it. But look, I think
Urias for Cy. Hashtag Urias for Cy. There it is. Carnivorous Lunar Activity had that one.
There we go.
Sileo Urias. Jose.
I like it.
Sileo
Urias.
Urias.
That's his Bikram yoga stretch, but I'm down.
And we're
with
getting
it.
a look in the back from Gary. oh, never mind. He's watching football. We've bored him already.
No, I think it's really a B war. I mean, I think if you look at overall B war, that's where the biggest gap is between Julio and Sandy. So it could be a battle down the stretch. Like I said, a couple signature starts, and he's firmly going to get some votes. And I think when you consider the fact that's why I'm not a big All-Star game guy. I'm not. I care about the end of the season, and I think it'd be, like you said, a big middle finger to the All-Star committee for not having him there. Or
for sure. And the thing that's so dumb about the All-Star game is every team needs a damn participation award.
Yeah, exactly.
And whatever, participation award, I'm not going to get into that. But you don't need to have a representative from the Pirates. Guess what? They bad. We know they don't really have anybody that be good, except for Brian Hayes. I'd love to have him over there. Moving on, though, let's get some quick injury updates, and then we're going to have the fun stuff. We want your guys' comments involved. But Blake Treinen, he hurt again. That no good. Shoulder soreness. They say it's not the same injury. That he says is his capsule and his muscles are all good and etc. He says he'll be back. How much time it's going to take and how much time he has to actually ramp up, TBD for sure. The question I pose to you, is it time to move on and work with what we've got, what the Dodgers have already in the bullpen? They made it this far.
They have, yeah. If you look at this bullpen, a 2.79 ERA, that's first in baseball. A 2.07 opponent's batting average, that's second. If you look at FIP, this team has been one of the best bullpens in all of Major League Baseball, and that is without Blake Treinen. I think that he's not going to get a PRP shot. He's going to get a POP shot, a power of prayer. And hopefully that will change things and allow him to get back on the mound. No, but in all seriousness, it's unfortunate because he's a guy that has proven to be one of the better high leverage relievers in all of Major League Baseball. But guess what? We found someone else in Evan Phillips. And if they hadn't found Dr. Filth, it might be a different story in this situation. But the fact that they have other guys that they can lean on is going to be big. But it would, to me at this point, when it comes to Blake Treinen, I'm going to look at it as a bonus. And if he comes back, great. If he doesn't, then we'll have to move on without him, and it's a next man up mentality.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could say the same with like Tommy Kahnle, who I think Dave said today or yesterday is probably the guy who's next closest to being an active, somebody who's active on the roster. So bye-bye Heath Hembry when it gets to that point. But, you know, Andrew Friedman did what he does, and he did what he does best. He went out and he got a guy that every people are like, oh, what's this about? But Chris Martin has been lights out so far as a Dodger. You already said Evan Phillips. He's a guy you have there. Phil Bickford is okay. I think if you find a way to really control the situations in which he is pitching, he is a fine option to. Sure, he's not going to take down seventh or eighth inning key roles or whatever, but to get that final out against the certain type of right-handed hitter, maybe that makes sense. Again, I do think we see Kahnle when the Dodgers get back home, if not up in San Francisco this weekend. Brusdar is kind of a question mark. He's missed most of the second half. He had that little 4-game stint back on the IL. Maybe it's about the same time frame as him and Blake Treinen. It feels like maybe with Brusdar you can kind of weasel him in a postseason series or whatever, but I still feel like I would want to see these guys get big league hitters out before just throwing them into the wolves. So I don't know. The jury's kind of out for me on Brusdar. What do you think?
I think the same. I feel the same way you feel. I mean, I think that the sooner you can get these guys back, I think Brusdar is a guy that he also has dealt with some elbow issues. Hopefully, he returns at some point mid-September, and you get these guys on the mound, and they can prove themselves once again. And really, it comes down to not what they did a few months ago. It's what it comes down to is who can you trust right now? Who can you trust in the postseason? I think Chris Martin, I said it the day they made the trade. I said this is a winning move by Andrew Friedman. When you look at some of his expected stats, if you look at some of his numbers with the Cubs, it would tell you that he was not the guy that he really was deep down inside. If you look at his numbers with the Cubs, a 4.31 ERA. With the Dodgers, they already have him at a 2.16 ERA. They fixed Chris Martin faster than the speed of sound, and I love that about this Dodgers organization. The fact that they can take in these guys and identify a few things and get them right. I think Chris Martin has the stuff that has played up in the postseason. And if you look at his numbers in the postseason, he's pitched very well. A 2.19 ERA, a sub-1 whip. Cody Bellinger did take him deep in Game 7.
You won't have to worry about that. Cody probably won't even be in the starting lineup. But hey,
ouch. But
same team this time though.
But yeah, I'm with you. I think that it's really touch and go with a lot of these guys in this Dodgers bullpen. I mean, we haven't even mentioned Yency Almonte, who threw a bullpen session Friday. He's hoping for a mid-September return.
He's another guy who's been out for a month and a half as well, though, so you have some concerns, but I would rather probably see a Yency over a Phil Bickford.
Yeah.
Even a Tommy Kahnle, like, 4 outings in 3 years for Tommy Kahnle? 5 outings in 3 years? There's a whole lot of question mark there.
I think he's the most intriguing because if you look at his ceiling, if he has that changeup, he has the velocity, he's pitched for a team like the Yankees. That's the kind of stuff that you want in the postseason. Even earlier this year, he did look filthy at times. Phil Bickford, I think he's a guy that he's got that rubber arm mentality. You can throw him out there. You can get multiple innings of relief. But do you trust his stuff when he leaves it out over the plate in high leverage situations? And he has the propensity to give up bombs this season. He's been kind of the Andrew Heaney out of the bullpen, if you want to kind of make that case.
Right-handed Heaney out of the pen,
out of the pen. So yeah, I mean they have some depth. It's not to the point where, like, I mean, Blake Treinen was the big one because he really fixed everything for this team. And also Craig Kimbrell. We haven't mentioned our friend Kim Brelsa. Shout out to Carnivorous Lunar Activity.
Let it go, man. Let it go.
Okay, yeah.
No, Kimbrel hasn't been a black hole all of a sudden. I don't know if it's enough to salvage him being the de facto ninth inning guy. And our friend Dave Vassay talked about it on 570 last week about how he doesn't think Kimbrel has done enough, and he doesn't think he's going. The team has think he's done enough, or feels he's done enough to prove himself in the ninth inning in the postseason. But you don't need to have that guy. It should be all hands on deck. It should be matchup based, and you got to get the right guys in the right spots. And if it's Evan Phillips getting, I'm kind of borrowing a little bit here from Vassay, but if it's Evan Phillips getting 3 outs or 6 outs in the 8th and 9th, and maybe Vesia coming in and getting the final out of a game or the final out of an 8th inning, whatever it is, you just got to bridge that the final really 8 outs with some quality arms. If Almonte comes back, you got Vesia and Ferguson who have been lights out or locked down for most of the season. Vesia had some hiccups early on, but he's turned out great. David Price is a dude who will be back that I trust more. We said last week, I think I kind of trust him a little bit more than Heaney at this point out of the bullpen, but I would also definitely trust him more than a Canely and trust him more than a Blake Treinen, who hasn't shown up to work for most of the year.
Yeah, the time is ticking. The clock is ticking on this bullpen, and really, the sooner the guys get back, the sooner you can truly evaluate what they have. And to me, I think Kimbrel is more important than a lot of people realize. They think it's just a situation where, if he doesn't work out, he won't make the postseason roster, and that's that. And yes, he hasn't been in too many situations to where you could say, the Kimbrelsa era is what it is. And like I said, the first time he blows a save, Dodger fans are going to want to let him go, but still, he has made progress. And I was very intrigued and encouraged by what I saw on Friday with that clean inning without having to rely on the strikeouts. And a lot of times this season with a Kimbrel appearance, it's, he goes out there, allows a hit, maybe a run, and then he gets 2 strikeouts, so you're encouraged by those strikeout numbers. Well, he's doing a much better job in pitching to contact and getting those outs, and the BABIP gods are starting to even out against him as well. So
they took the better part of nearly 5 months, but I'll take it.
Yeah, hey, maybe Cody Bellinger needs to change his walk-up song to a Disney song. That's all I'm saying.
He needs to go back to Hotel California. Yeah. Good one here. I like this one because we've talked about it at different times throughout the season, and I'm seeing a few comments in here highlighting here, Swelling Sausage asking about Bobby Miller. Is it going to be Miller time? Do we think this is the right time for Bobby Miller? He's pointing out, it could be the Dodgers' Trevor Rosenthal might touch, 103 out of the bullpen with adrenaline. Where are you at? Do you leave him, or do you consider Bobby Miller as a 2022 bullpen option late?
I'm still definitely in the camp that says you got to see what you have in Bobby Miller, because you saw what happened with Ryan Pepio. It just hasn't quite worked out. They had hoped that he would come up and be that weapon with that 80-grade changeup, but the command just isn't there. Bobby Miller, though, you're starting to see him go deeper into games, a 14 punch-out game. He's got that it factor. He's got that Miller moxie, as I like to call it. And I do think that other thing, too, you mentioned Trevor Rosenthal and guys like that, is the lack of familiarity that opposing hitters have against him. He's a true wild card because of that as well. And I do think that if he can come up and his stuff translates to the pros, and he has had some command issues too, so there's just some cause for concern, but I just don't love the back end of the Dodgers bullpen right now when it comes to those big-time high-leverage stoppers right now. Even Evan Phillips, as great of a season as he had, is that going to translate in the postseason? I definitely think the stuff is there. There's no question about it, but he's still unproven. And, of course, Bobby Miller would be unproven as well, but to me, it's always talent over experience versus experience over talent when it comes to a role that he wouldn't be relied upon to give you 4 or 5 innings. It'd be like a weapon. But what are your thoughts on Miller? Do you think they should give it a shot?
I think it's a little too late. Perhaps a little too late in the season, but also we've seen people have success in small sample sizes. I don't remember how many innings either of these two names I'm going to mention. I don't remember how many innings they threw as rookies, but I know they came out of the other end of it barely throwing any in the regular season and coming out of it with a ring, and that was Adam Wainwright with the Cardinals and Francisco Rodriguez with the Angels. And those are two dudes that proved to be, Waino got the final outs of that, 2006, I think it was, World Series, or 05, no, 06, because 05 was White Sox. And 02, I don't know where Anaheim would have been without having K-Rod there backing up or setting up for Troy Percival. So there is I don't know if it's a benefit, but there is a precedent that rookies can come up and the same way that they could be rattled, maybe they're not, and maybe maybe the hitter doesn't know what the hell this guy has, and they just, I mean, granted, there's a lot of tape these days. There wasn't then, but maybe they don't know what this guy has, and you might be able to, sneak a few series out of a rookie and get yourself a championship.
Absolutely. I mean, this is the organization that had Fernando Valenzuela out there at a young age. You talk about Bob Welch back in the late 70s. They used him as a weapon, calling him up. So, yeah, I think that where this team's at, I agree with you. It is late in the game to pull off something like this. He's not even on the 40-man roster, so you would have to maneuver a little bit.
I
but
got a spot by Heath Embry.
Yeah, I mean, of course, they can make it happen easily. But, yeah, I think that this team, we'll see how these I think it's going to play itself out injury-wise, because if Brusdar's healthy, you saw what he was able to do in the 2020 postseason. If Yency Almonte, he was a little up and down a little bit. If you look at the disparity between his ERA and his FIP and his expected ERA, I don't trust him on the same level, of course, that I would trust an Evan Phillips. But I think Chris Martin was the big key addition. If he can perform for this team, and he has that experience, but he also has the stuff as well, and I think that's going to be big. And then we'll see, how do they use guys like an Andrew Heaney? How do they use some of these other guys that can potentially give you multiple innings of relief? But yeah, I think the key is for starters is we'll find out what happens with Blake Treinen. But that was a big blow, because look at this. 2 weeks ago, a month ago, we thought we're getting back Blake Treinen and Walker Buehler.
Yeah,
and now it looks like it's a situation where you're not getting any of them back. It's like getting coal in your stocking on Christmas Day, right? You thought you were getting these presents, but you're really not getting them. So,
in the immortal words of Vin Scully, for the Dodgers, nothing comes easy.
There you go. Absolutely.
Guys, thanks for hanging out with us so far in the stream. If you haven't left a like and a comment yet, go ahead. We're trying to get to the comments along the way, but let's move on. Let's have some fun, and let's have some engagement here with something I'm sure is going to be a hot button topic. The big news from last week, brought to you by the Dodgers Nation app, downloaded on Android and the iOS store. It's a really cool app, something we're pretty damn proud of. Go do that, and Doug will make awkward gifts for you. But the new MLB announced new rule changes for 2023, and I don't know if they feel universally panned, but there has been some reaction to these some parts of the rule changes.
Yeah, I think when you look at these rule changes, first, the one that really stands out to me is the restrictions on the shift. Because when you talk about this Dodgers organization, they're an organization that uses the shift more than any team. I mean, especially against lefties, going into that shift 77% of the time. The fact that they're able to get the most outs out of it. But I want your thoughts. I mean, do you think the restricting of the shift is good or bad for baseball?
I think it's bad for baseball, because I do think that as a team and as a player on defense, you should be able to put yourself in a position to maximize your versatility and your ability to make outs. You're on defense. It's your job to find a way to make outs and help out your pitcher. On the other side, I think it's I'm not a big fan of it, because I feel like hitters should learn how to hit. And yeah, this is the old man yelling at cloud. I mean, if there were shifts back in the 70s, how many more hits would Pete Rose have had, because he would have had more holes to just poke it anywhere or whatever. I like Freddie Freeman's game. That is exciting to me. Somebody who could all right, I'm not going to be able to slug because of the way this guy's pitching me. I'm just going to go poke it anywhere. Trey Turner, when he's right, I'm going to poke it gap to gap. Mookie, I'm going to use my entire canvas. 2019 Cody Bellinger, I'm going to use every damn opportunity I can to add a hit to my ledger. But now you get, love him, handsome boy, nice, big, thick man boobs, but Joey Gallo can't, he can't go left. He can't, he doesn't have that kind of bat control. Let's walk up there, just, everybody's Adam Dunn, but bad at it.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, there's certain players that you would say, hey, why can't you just adjust? And we saw Max Muncy a few days ago. It was a perfectly executed bunt right down the left field line.
People just started bunting. That's how you kill the shift. Just bunt.
I mean, that's what David Ortiz used to do, Big Papi, back in the day. But everyone's saying, oh, they shifted against Ted Williams. He figured it out. And I'm like, well, he's Ted freaking Williams, the best hitter in Major League Baseball history. So to me, you guys know, I'm definitely a longtime baseball purist, but I'm 100% behind this. I definitely think that it's going to lead to more action. It's going to lead to highlighting the athletes of this game to get hits. I mean, I wasn't the greatest baseball player in the world, but when I was here at South Pasadena playing baseball, my hit was squaring.
Baseball, yeah.
Sweet. South Pass varsity, baby. It was squaring that line drive right up the middle.
I was just about to say,
and I love that.
One thing I did omit that I do miss the game from 20 years ago, where if you saw a ball get past the pitcher, chances are that was rolling up the middle for a single. And then you get the action single, you're probably going to get more stolen bases. You might be able to see some speedy dudes, non-sluggers get better opportunities. Juan Pierre would not make it in this game. That's for damn sure. Sean Figgins types would not make it in this game. D. Gordon did not make it in this game, but he did a bit when he came up. And there's.
But I just think
I don't think there's a right or wrong answer to it.
I mean,
I don't like it, but there's some benefits to it for sure. And I think it's going to be fun. I think it will make the game more exciting.
Yeah, for me, that's where I stand. Is this better for the overall appeal of the game? Will it make the game more attractive to maybe a casual fan of Major League Baseball? Because I think what happened was we all got so smart with analytics and defensive positioning. Just look at Manny Machado in right field on the grass. So you look at I did a breakdown of the shift against the Padres where you had Rojas and Gordon and Adrian Gonzalez.
6-man infield, I think
it was ridiculous.
Like,
it should not look like they're lining up for an onside kick. It shouldn't look like they're lining up for a free kick right in front of the home plate, because I think what it does is, like I said, it makes it where guys are just standing around. You have the three true outcomes. And I also think that guys are going to, previously are going to look for a way to leave the yard. I think that you're going to see a different approach from players now. And I also think I have a little conspiracy theory behind this. And my theory is that Rob Manfred, that he basically got outed for the sign stealing. He got outed for basically all these different things when it comes to having the Apple Watches and trying to steal signs. And now he also got outed for the juice baseballs, right?
Yeah.
And he realizes
things damaging the integrity of the game.
And I don't even think he cares about. He doesn't care about the integrity of the game. But
he doesn't. But these moments, when moments like that go national, when Sports Center is actually talking about baseball and not just the same bullshit about football for 12 months a year, then baseball did something wrong, because ESPN hates baseball. They don't like it. So if you get them talking about the Astros and sign stealing or the watches or whatever the hell they've done.
I think the reason why
there's a problem for baseball.
And I think that's because there's a product issue. I mean, look at yesterday. You have the NFL first day. You have the nice, neat and tidy 10 o'clock window of games. Yep. You got the morning games, you got the afternoon games, and you got the primetime games. But for Major League Baseball, you have a game that lasts 3, 4, 5 hours, and you have a product where there's too much standing around. And just look at how other sports have evolved. The NFL and going to, you talk about the defense. It's not like they're taking away the nickel defense in the NFL, but they don't allow DBs to just maul receivers at the line like they used to, right? They created more spacing. Same thing with the NBA, more of a free-flowing game. So I think it was about time for baseball to adjust and just see how a different set of rules would be. And I just think that, too, when you look at the Dodgers mainly, though, I think that they had such an advantage because of how they did use the shift, that if it's a level playing field, that it's definitely something that they're not going to get as many easy outs as they were in the past. But I think it's good for the game. But next one I want to ask you about, though,
I have one final thought, and my bad. Like, I don't think it's going to, the shift elimination is going to have as big of an effect as we think. The biggest thing the Dodgers usually do is shift their third baseman over to second base so their 2B can go play in that deep hole. Yeah, the feet need to be on the dirt, but you're still going to have somebody right there up the middle. You need to have two people. So if anything, 3B is going to play a deep second base, and second base can play its more natural position. So up the middle is still going to be eliminated, and you're still going to have a hole for lefty pull hitters. You're still going to have a hole in the third base side. The biggest thing is you're not going to have Manny Machado going and playing right center field.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
it's those like eyesores. I mean, the one against the Astros.
they'll always find a way to cheat. Yeah, exactly.
A few years ago. I mean, it's just about balancing it out. It's like in the NBA. You don't really talk about illegal defense and how big of a difference it is at the college level. It's just these little minor tweaks that I think are going to allow for at the end of the day more action, and that is what baseball has been lacking for so many years. But next one I ask you about is the pitching clock. So that's another one that to me is the most interesting one because you consider the fact the MLB, PA, they did not like the idea of a pitching clock for Major League Baseball, and now you're going to have a clock. And in related story, Pedro Baez has just announced his retirement from Major League Baseball because we know how long it took him. But yeah, so pitchers will have up to 15 seconds between pitches when the bases are empty and up to 20 seconds between pitches when there is at least one runner on base. Clint, what are your thoughts on the pitching clock in Major League Baseball?
Jury's out for me. In principle, I don't like it. Hearing about it, I don't like it. I've seen it in action in minor league games. I've seen it in action in the Arizona Fall League last year. It's it is nice to see them get the ball and get right back on the bump. I think at the end of the day, when the players get used to it, it's not going to be a problem. Early on, we're going to hear people complain and piss and moan about it. But that also just happens anytime, you try to apply rules to something or a change to a rule. People don't like change. People don't like rules. Don't tell me what to do. I need an adult. But I'm mixed. I get, if anything, I'm indifferent. I don't care. I don't think it's going to have that big of an effect. It is going to have a big effect, but I don't think it's going to be something that's going to be like horribly challenging. I think my biggest concern is if it does get to be a point where it's like really loud and players are complaining about it. And there's always, to get like a free strike or a free ball, that's dumb to me. I would say make it like fines or something and, challenge their money. And that's going to be a big thing.
Interesting.
But, the fact that affects the game, that's probably the main thing that bothers me is how it affects. You could strike out on if you're not in the box, within 9 seconds or whatever it is. That's dumb as hell.
Yeah, I think the first time that really impacts the outcome of a game, people are going to have some strong opinions on this. I mean, it's still so far away. Not too many people are too passionate about it, but Carnivorous Lunar Activity asked down below in the comments, what are some of the rules? You just mentioned one about the balls. Also, a pitcher may disengage the rubber twice per plate appearances without a penalty, but if you break that, the result is a balk. So, yeah, I think for me, one, you look at base stealing, right? If Ricky Henderson knows you have to release it and he's not looking for that move, how many more stolen bases would he get? If you're a hitter at the plate and you know that this release is coming at this time, does that help the batter? We always know that baseball, what makes it so special, it is the timeless sport. It is the one sport where the defense has the ball in their hands. And I think that you're giving a lot of advantages to the hitter. We know the pitcher always has the advantage for that same reason, but if you look at the numbers, if they want a shorter game, this helps accomplish that. The pitcher time, the pitcher clock has reduced games at the minor league level by 26 minutes from 3 hours and 4 minutes per game to 2 hours and 38 minutes in 22. But to me, this is the one where I go back and forth. I think that you want a the length of a game to be shorter. There's no question about that. And I've never been to a game and be like, man, I wish this would end 30 minutes earlier. Like, I enjoy myself when I go to a baseball game, but guess what? We're not everyone, okay? And we're not networks. And what makes this has to be appealing to fans. But this is what I have to say about this. If umpires just enforce the rules properly, and they called balls and strikes correctly, that would speed up the game. So to me, having a robo-ump would be better than having a pitch clock, in my opinion.
I heard, it might have been on the Dodger broadcast, but I forget exactly where, so I can't cite the source, but I love the idea of, maybe batters should get, or each team should get a challenge, ball or strike. You should be able to challenge within like 5 seconds. An umpire says it and calls it a ball, and sure, there's like the umpires union or whatever, they have like an extra 3 inches all around the plate, as a grace, whatever, I don't know what to call it, as a leniency box for them, which is why the hell do they get a bigger strike zone than either what we see on the TV or what is in reality the legitimate strike zone. But I like the idea of like, hey, we should be able. I don't like that. You, instead of getting arguments and killing time, having umpire or a manager go out and kick dirt at the umpire and you know, have all this much ado about nothing.
We need the breakdowns, right?
Yeah.
We need the content.
Well, it would kill the content, but if you could be like, you know what, no, Blue, I challenge this, and then it's going to be, and you get to keep your challenge if you're right, and if not, you get shot in the face.
Oh, that's pretty extreme.
Maybe that's a bit much.
That's pretty extreme. But yeah, I've been a big proponent of managers having at least 1 or 2 challenges per game. I've been talking about that for years, and I think that
it's something that's instantaneous. By the way, we don't need to talk to New York. It's a buzzer. That is something where it's like,
exactly.
What did the thing say? Oh, it says it was a strike. Oops. Okay, you're gone. Whatever.
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, when you watch a game, when you talk about balls and strikes, yes, there's games where you have an Angel Hernandez that just trashed the entire game. But usually when it's a ball or strike that really determines the outcome of a game, it's one here, it's one there. But I do think that you're going to see managers, if that is the case and they get a couple challenges, they'll be challenge happy and they'll be out of their challenges early in a game. So, but yeah, I mean, I do think that it is going to accomplish its intended effect, and you're going to improve the pace of play, reduce dead time. But I just don't like the idea of seeing like a shot clock, almost like beep, beep, and then pitch.
I like your point of it is a timeless game, and that's a great thing. Each team gets 27 outs. Everybody gets an equal amount of being able to win the game. They're doing this to try to make the game more appealing to fans who aren't fans of or to people who aren't fans of the game yet. Yet they're not marketing their players. They're not making the game exciting. Instead, they nitpick. Rob Manfred and his cronies nitpick on the stupidest shit, like a pitch clock, like bigger. I mean, the bigger bags, we'll get into that, I'm assuming right now. But like I understand the safety of it. If you're going to do that, might as well do the softball double bag thing. But that's neither here nor there. If you're trying to do things to make the game more exciting to bring in fans, you make it more exciting by utilizing the players that are playing the game and make them, people wanted to play basketball because of Michael, because of MJ. You want to play tennis because pissed off John McEnroe back in the day or whatever. You want to do that. You don't want to. They can't market Mike Trout because he's on a bad team. Get rid of tanking too while you're at it. Find a way to do that, or get rid of teams. Don't add more teams. They clearly can't figure it out. Give me more Mookie content, and don't make it about them. Find a way to market your players better, and not just when it's the most lucrative for you in October or maybe at the All-Star game. Do that, you're going to get players, and then nobody's going to give a shit about an extra 30 minutes of game time. You want to see more baseball.
Yeah, there's no question about that, for sure. And I think one final thought on this is you look at a baseball game, right? It could be 3 hours and 4 minutes. That's the average baseball time. The ball's in play for 18 minutes, right? And what is the intrigue of that game? It's the anticipation in between pitches. It's watching the beads of sweat go down Pedro Baez's head while he waits 30 minutes in between pitch. It's about that. And to kind of take that away from the game where it's this hyper speed level of game, I'm just not I'm not totally for it. And then also, will this wear down pitchers? I think that's one of the big issues too, Clint, is we're in this velocity revolution, right? Are they going to say, what's the next rule? They say, oh, pitchers, you can't throw over 100 miles per hour or it won't count, right? And the reality is, with this velo revolution, guys are getting injured. You're having big bullpen changes, and that is what really lengthens the game. So I don't think this is going to solve all their problems. But next, I want to ask you about is the bigger bases. I'm sure this one won't be as long of a discussion, but what are your thoughts on them making the bigger bases? I like big bases, and I cannot lie.
Yeah, gotcha. I'm not as pissed as Rich Hill. That's all I got.
I like it. Yeah, I mean,
it's, I don't think they. If the intent or the hope is that it's going to make the game more exciting with more stolen bases, that it's not going to happen. I don't think it's going to be that big of a change. I think safety is going to be the biggest change, and that's about it.
Yeah,
which is
for
good.
sure.
I would rather see people not get hurt.
Yeah.
That's lame.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when it comes to injuries, just look at Muncy at the end of last season. He sustained an injury. But, yeah, if you can get more action on the base pass, more stolen bases, you can eliminate injuries a little more. That's definitely been proven with the bigger bases from 15 to 18 inches. But, to me, I just don't think that all these rules are going to have a massive impact on the game. I still think it's a work in progress. But, hey, hitters, get your shift together, because next season things are going to change in Major League Baseball. So we'll see how it plays out, but very interesting to see how it impacts these teams. So
Getting into a few of the comments here, CK Chin likes the idea of the challenges, saying each team gets 3 challenges. Only batter, pitcher, catcher are allowed to challenge within 5 seconds. I like that. I would I would make it shorter. I would be like, it has to be instantaneous, or like within 2-3 seconds, 5 seconds. Somebody could maybe see the tape, or the Astros could be cheating and looking at the damn live tape or whatever the hell it is. SD Dodger, our boy Tim, is having some good points in here. Any on-field rule created for off-field reasons needs to be eliminated. I agree with that take to an extent. Carnivorous Lunar Activity, hate to see an October Classic ruined by the pitch clock. Imagine somebody walking it off on a timer. That is dumb as hell, and I will stand behind that. He also said, getting on the point about marketing players, they only market a few players, and that is a problem. And it's Ohtani. He mentions Aaron Judge. You would like to see more, but there are so many more guys to push, and we don't see enough Mookie Betts. That is a generational talent type of dude. But you should be seeing it.
But I will say though, baseball players, they need to do a better job in marketing themselves. Because you compare that to the NBA, where you have LaMelo Ball and Lonzo Ball. He's like a marginal player.
Well, you're talking about balls here, man. They got the dad who's taking care of everything there.
I mean, look at like Amari Bailey, a guy who's a high school recruit. He's going to UCLA for basketball. He has like 1 million followers because baseball players, they're not as marketing themselves like they are. And then in college, you have football players with these NIL deals, and just the visibility of minor league and college baseball isn't the same. But I definitely think that across the board, they can do a better job. But yeah, to me, it just feels like an overall cash grab to really present a better, shorter product in their eyes. And yeah, like you said, Tim, I agree with you 100% out there. Anytime you're implementing rules just for off-the-field stuff, it's not a good thing. I can already see it now. The pitch clock presented by Rolex. Or the pitch clock presented by the 2018 Apple Watch. So I can see stuff like that. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. We got Blue Magic says, what up, guys? Blue Magic in the house. Blue Magic always representing down in the comment section, a Dodgers Nation day one. We got Mark Ortega, let's go Blue. Ray Barrios, yup, all-time great. Mike Trout, it's not even recognizable in a mall. Sad. I mean, Ray Barrios, when you put it like that, it is sad. I mean, that'd be the equivalent of like a Giannis Antetokounmpo not being able to be recognized. But basketball players and NFL players, sometimes they're more recognizable than baseball players. But really, the issue is that Mike Trout isn't in the postseason because what the NBA and the NFL have figured out is, look at, we got a Monday Night Football game on. There's Noah. He cares about the Seahawks versus the Broncos, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think that Noah's tuning in for the Mariners versus the Rockies, right? He's not itching to watch that game. And the reason for that, I believe, is one, if you follow a Major League Baseball team, they play every day. So how much bandwidth do people have to follow multiple games? Yeah. But two, they get you to care about other teams' players. And I think that's the biggest thing, because if you play in the postseason, that's when you start watching other teams. Let's say the Dodgers get eliminated early, which isn't happening because they're probably going to win the World Series. You're going to still probably tune in if you're even a casual baseball fan. But Mike Trout, I don't have as much sympathy for him because he could have gotten a trade, okay?
Yeah, and, he didn't have to sign that big deal.
If he wanted that Mike Clout, if you know what I'm saying.
Mike Clout. Great comment here. Carnivorous Lunar Activity. I usually pass out to D-Max first shot of Jim Beam. Hey.
Let's go.
But good stuff. A lot of great comments from everybody.
I save money by being a lightweight.
We got sidetracked talking to each other about baseball. Hey, you got 30 seconds. Savannah has been asking all show. What about Chris Taylor? Give me something about Chris Taylor. Just anything.
Clean-shaven Chris Taylor went 4 for 12 over the weekend. He's definitely looking better at the plate. I definitely think he's timed this perfectly, where he goes on an Octaylor run, and he's such a streaky player that I think this is perfectly in line with who he's been throughout his career. So I definitely believe in Chris Taylor. I think he's been banged up throughout this season. I think this lead is going to give him an opportunity to get fully healthy. So I think things are looking up for CT3.
There it is. That's a professional right there. Guys, here's the look ahead. We're going to get through this real quick because we are getting closer into game time. We want to predict the next 2 series because we're not going to be back with you until next Monday. Good news, the Dodgers avoid Zach Gallen in Arizona, 3 in Arizona, 3 in San Francisco. Final matchup between those 2 of the year because San Francisco sucks. They're not going to be in the postseason. What are your predictions, those 6 games? How do you think this is, as of now, we have not played Monday's game. How do you think it's going to turn out?
I'll say 4-2, just because if you look at how Doc's been managing, it's not managing to win Game 7 of the World Series at this point. So I'll take 4-2. Like you said, they do avoid Galentine's Day. They'll probably face him on September 20th next week. But the Giants, they've been struggling all season long. They haven't been the same team. If you look at this Diamondbacks team, I've actually been pretty impressed with this D-backs team of late. They're 27-21 since the All-Star break. The Dodgers, though, 9-2 versus the D-backs. I mean, the D-backs, Freudian slip, this season, 5-2 against Arizona in Arizona. So, yeah, I mean, they did lose 2 out of 3 against them back in April. Yeah. You never know. Look out for this guy, too. That guy with the Corbin, that player they just called up on August 29th. He's been raking his outfield prospect. So he's been fantastic, but I'm going 4-2. I will say last time we did this, I was on the money with my 10-4 prediction. Go look at the results like you look at Anthony Keene's Julio Urias prediction.
I do agree on 4-2. They find a way to lose one game each of these series. It feels like, because they're not playing to win necessarily. They're not pulling out all the stops to win. So 4-2 prediction for sure. We do have the question. We'll save it for designated Twitter this week, or maybe another version of this. Maybe a roundtable. We'll try to pull one off. But big question we got to know, or really that needs to be asked after they clinched, is what are they playing for the next 2+ weeks? We'll save that for later in the week. But how do you think the Dodgers should celebrate if they win the division?
If they win the division, I think
in Arizona.
I think, look, they get Joey Gallo, and they run out to that pool, and they get Joey Gallo to throw the security guards and the horses, and they dive into the Dodgers pool out there in Arizona, and they take a leak in the Diamondbacks pool, because you remember what they did? They didn't want the Dodgers to celebrate back in 2013. What did LA do? They had the pool party, and I think that was fantastic. Or what they could do, if the security is a little too strict, just get some inflatable above ground pools and some slip and slides and put that out on the diamond. Imagine Trey Turner doing some slip and slides. That'd be fantastic. But no, in all honesty, just a little celebration, and then it's a Kobe Bryant job not finished mentality. So yeah. I think it'll be a little subdued, but I also think that, hey, we still see them celebrating home runs and strikeouts.
Yeah, they're going to celebrate. They're not going to jump in a pool. They're not going to go steal a horse from a cop. They're not going to do anything dumb. They're not going to parade in the streets. And I don't think Dodger fans are going to parade in the streets. We are used to this. But you cheers, you get Joey Gallo's shirt off, and you have a good time. You go through as much beer and primo champagne as you can, because you are a class organization, and that is what they do. Or they can spray each other with Hornitos and, have a nice Paloma over there. Guys, it's final thought. I wanted to talk about something real quick for our final thought here, presented by Hornitos. Albert Pujols. I got to talk about AP real quick. Theo is doing some magic stuff right now. It is fun to watch. He just passed A-Rod. He is now in sole possession of 4th all-time on the home run hitting leader list. He's not going to get past that. So he is now officially the number 4 best hitting home run dude of all time, and he was a Dodger, and he hit 12 of those as a Dodger. But it's really cool. Watch that over the next few weeks as it unfolds, because it's something that's just, it's fun for baseball. It's fun for sports. It's good to say, hey, you lived through Albert Pujols. So watch it, appreciate it. And St. Louis comes to L.A. next weekend. So Austin Barnes bobblehead giveaway on that Saturday. Check it out. So as we wrap up the show, here's one final shot. I probably poured myself too much earlier, but may the Dodgers stay healthy and win all the games. May you guys stay healthy and happy and enjoy fine Hornitos Paloma with your friends at the Dodger game, like I plan on doing next time I get out there. So, guys, thank you for tuning in tonight. Find us on the internet at DodgersNation.com. Subscribe to Blue Heaven on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Stitcher Radio, Pandora, Player FM, everywhere your podcasts are available for free. We are there. Go download it. Leave a 98-star review. Leave a comment if you can, or a review if you can. Find us here on YouTube, youtube.com/DodgersNationTV. Hit the bell, hit a like, do all the things you can do. Email us to those boner pill people. Just send it back to them, because why not? My name is Clint. You can find me as Real FRG on Twitter and Instagram. That guy is Doug McCain, DMac_LA. Give him a follow. He's a great follow. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for all the questions. Thank you for hanging out with us. Go Dodgers. And we will see you next Monday.